Менеджер по продукту Gonçalo Pereira и младший менеджер по продукту André Espinha, я старалась, из компании Miniclip расскажет о своем опыте выбора поставщиков и о том, как добиться перевода высокого качества вовремя.
Good morning, everyone. So we'd like to start by thanking our partners at LocKit for inviting us. I think most of you understand English. So our presentation will be mostly in two parts. So I will be just giving some insight into the company, and we'll talk about a project that me and André started about a year and a half ago regarding localizations and culturalization of our products. Because we felt that there was a lot of improvement to be done on that area. Yeah, I'm watching the sign, sorry. Okay, I hope you can hear me better now. Okay. All right, so, so these two handsome fellas, Gonçalo and André, have been joined Miniclip in 2017. I joined in January and André joined in April. I'm a product manager, he's a social product manager. So Miniclip. Miniclip was established in 2001, mainly as a web games company. I don't know if you guys ever played our games on the website. In 2001, I remember being in high school, no, actually not even high school, middle school, playing these games during classes, so it's actually a big honor to be now working with Miniclip. We shifted to mobile in 2010. And these are our main titles. So we have two studios, two main development studios, one in Portugal, where we come from, another in Italy, who do mainly 3D games like Football Strike, Basketball Stars. And we also do third-party publishing, Flipmaster, Flip Diving, Bowling King, and Archery King, our two external partners. Our mother company now is Tencent. So we also bring games that are, we're looking into bringing games that are made in China to try and westernize and bring it over to Western Europe. And for the Portuguese titles, I guess, so Soccer Stars, Agario, and our flagship title, A Pool. And we grew a lot since 2010, and we're actually very proud. We reached a big milestone this year where we hit 1.5 billion downloads. So this was a very Mike, this was a very big milestone for us. A tip: I've heard the Wi-Fi is pretty good on this conference room. If we bore you, download our games. Feel free. Hopefully not. But, so yeah, we hit 1.5 billion downloads, but we work on a continuous improvement, and we always want to push our products further. And something that we felt definitely could be improved and sometimes is a bit overlooked was the localizations subject. We felt, and when you have players actually suggesting to translate the games for you, it means that there's something that may be improved there. So, with that in mind, we decided to go on this quest to find the right partner. We had a lot of issues, quality standard issues, cost efficiency. So we decided to, okay, it's time to put a stop to this. Let's work on this, and we've been working for a year now to improve this on our end. So our first step was we wanted to change providers, but what now? How do we do it? There was this standard agreement. We've worked with the same people for quite a long time, so we weren't sure how to pick this up. So our first steps were actually to identify what were our main goals and what were our issues. So our main issues were we had bad reviews regarding localizations. This was a really big setback for us because we believe in the quality of our products and being toned down because of localization was kind of a bummer. So we wanted to make sure that we pushed those reviews and ratings up. We wanted to reach also some emerging markets. It's something important for us. There are certain markets that are growing really fast. So we want to make sure we penetrate those markets with the best quality possible. And we would achieve that through improvement of localization and culturalization of our products. Obviously, with that, we hoped it wasn't a certainty, but we hoped that we would increase retention and engagement of players in those markets. And more of a generic improvement would be obviously our image. Like we value Miniclip's image a lot, and we wanted to make sure that in those markets we would see like a company who looks at those players and gives the feedback they want. So the first step we did in this project was to set out quality requirements. Okay, what are we looking for in our pipeline? We wanted to make sure that they could deliver the best possible solution for us, for our company, and we dug very, very deep and for a long time into references of games that those companies translated and culturalized. We wanted to make sure we've had a lot of issues with response time, and this at first doesn't seem like a big issue, but time zone and time gap was a very big issue for us. We like to make, mobile market is very fast paced, we like to make releases very, very often, and the time zone we lost days with back and forth, and we would send a request, they would reply the next day, so we had a lot of constraints with time. It's something that we needed to make sure that we could have respond quickly to the development needs to include the new localization. So time zone was really important for us. Obviously the quality is hard to measure, but we made sure that we went through videos, through player feedback of games that those specific companies translated. It was a big step for us, and obviously cost efficiency, which was we weren't looking for the cheap solution, obviously, but cost efficiency for us is we need to make sure that it's delivered on time, the development as what it needs, so we don't lose resources having to double check, triple check, quadruple check every single string. We wanted to make sure that we were confident enough, okay, these guys delivered, we know that the quality standards are high, we just can pass it through to the developers and just rest on the case. So we did a lot of scouting, interviews, and we came up with a short list of partners, which then finally we decided to move forward with our inviters here, which we are very grateful for. And we started to see a lot of improvement. So this project is taking a long time for us, but in certain markets, and specifically the Asian markets, we saw a lot of improvements since we started this endeavor. There's still a lot of things to do. We don't go that far as to changing our product significantly per market, but we believe that the translations are already bringing quite an uplift to our products. So, what did we do? When we started this project, and there's still a lot to do, we wanted to make sure that and we still want to make sure that all our games are completely reviewed and proofread and retranslated if needed. So this takes a lot of time, but it's something that we made this with already with 1 or 2 products, and it's actually increasing our KPIs. So measuring the quality of translations is actually quite hard. It doesn't seem like a tangible, really tangible thing. So we made sure that when this happened, we would stall a release for a few more days or a few weeks if needed, because we would be afraid that a certain feature would corrupt our data in terms of translations. So with time, especially on those markets, we started to see the reviews to become better. Also in terms of streaming, people won't complain so much, and the ratings, actually people who had rated before with bad ratings would go into their platforms and re-review it and actually increase the rating, so we had a significant increase on specific markets. We saw on those countries also an increase in retention and engagement for the players, which was very, very positive for us. I think the most important, not only this sets a very positive basis for the future. We are releasing new products. We have actually 2 new games in soft launch right now, and it's something that we are comfortable now. From the get-go, we know that in certain markets, these products will already deliver a very high quality in terms of localization. I'm going to pass the speech to my colleague, Espinha.
Thank you, Gonçalo. Hello, everyone. Just a small disclaimer, I think Gonçalo forgot to mention. Both of us, we are not linguistics. We are not localization products. But what we do, or at least what we try to do well, is to solve problems as a product manager. So, we came up with these best practices tips, super awesome, by the way. And I hope that you see it not as a closed path to go, but a point for you also to adapt it to your environment and to the way you work. So these were kind of the findings that we got, and some of them seem really simplistic, but in truth, most of the times the simple things work best, and we forget them. So we try to overcomplicate things. So, okay, first of all, when we started to work with LocKit, we wanted to establish the ground rules since the beginning. So, what were the tools that we were going to use? Would it be a translation platform? Would it be a Google Sheet or sending files back and forth? So, would we also have a specific template with the columns always in the same space and in the same order? Also, what was the minimum information that we should exchange? What would be the best additional information that we could send? Prints, game footage, the build when it's still on development. Also, the delivery times. This was a big point, as Gonçalo referred on this part. Also, a little bit of, because of our background, we were working in a very gray company, very strict, that we worked with deadline. So for us, having a deadline also in this industry made totally sense. Also, the quotation for the job and the payment schedule. This is also very important. Sometimes companies don't talk or are a little bit shady about it, about when are we going to pay or something. So it generates some awkward feeling about it. So it's best to clear that thing from the beginning and start working. And basically we are creating a process. The second tip, and I think this is a very important tip, we should consider our provider part of the team, not a part that is just supplying us with the translations. So we should be modest to the point that we should share information. We should not be afraid, oh, they are going to share the build with our competition, this is a very secret project. No, they signed an NDA. So there is no point of not sharing the information, because after all, the more information I give to the provider, the best the work will be. So it doesn't make sense when companies get super secret about the jobs that they are doing and they just send the strings of text without any context. So basically, help them help you. It was too good. Okay? The third tip is to communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Regardless if you speak Russian or English or Portuguese, you should establish a communication chain inside your company and also with your partner. Sometimes, at least the thing that we felt in our case, it wasn't established how the PMs from other projects would request the jobs, so we could send to operate. So it was important from the beginning to establish that chain. Also assure that the request is simple, clear, and straight to the point. So I should do my work and not just fast forward the job directly to the company. I should take a little bit of time and understand myself what I'm asking for the company. Also, the sync up regarding the time zones and working hours. This was a very critical issue for us. I won't tell the name of the previous provider, but they worked in India. So, as Gonçalo said, it generated lots of mismatches and lag in answering times. And I'm pretty happy with the time zone that we have with Operate and with Marina. Thank you, Marina, for putting up with my crazy requests. And that is also a very important point. Okay, this one is a little bit more kind of out of localization theme, but it is a keystone. People are resistant to change. So when we change the process, or we are trying to implement the process, some people will be very difficult to change their mentality. So this is kind of a step-by-step conversion to implement a new process. In our case, we started only with one project, then we jumped to 2 projects, and now I think we have almost every project developed in MPT, the Portuguese studio, and also the Italian studio is also now in the same loop. So that's important because now we have also coherence in the translation. Also, it's important to try to understand the nature of that resistance. So why is my colleague resistant to requests in a certain way? What did he not understand? Or is there any time constraint from his side? Is there any development constraint from the project team? So it's important to figure it out, not in a negative way of you will do what I'm saying, not in a very dictatorship state, but you should try to be with an open heart and try to understand the reason of the problem. Of course, it's better to start from the easy ones, the people that are more available to change, and save the hard cases for the last. Because you will have more results, that things work better that way. And also because peer pressure. So if everyone is doing in that way, the requests or the using the process, well, you won't want to be left out. So you will join the process. The other thing, and I think this is a thing that applies for both ways, for the suppliers and for the companies that request. You use your urgent card wisely. So I understand that if everything is urgent, well, nothing is, actually. I cannot differentiate these red squares, what is more urgent than the other, if everyone is screaming and running like headless chicken. So, the first thing that I do when my colleagues don't say when they need it, or they just say, oh, it's urgent, yes, but for when? When do you need it? When do you really need it? The things done. And with that in mind, and of course I know how they work. Sometimes they say it's urgent, okay, I'll take care of it, but of course I know it's not urgent. So I manage that and I prioritize the jobs, and then I sync up with my manager, and also we establish the urgency. Also, one thing that I'm working on it is to avoid last-minute requests. For me, it doesn't make any sense. We are developing games. We are in a fast-paced market, but we should prepare. We should plan before. We should give more importance to localizations and not leave it to the last step. Of course, making a feature is important. developing it is important. Doing QA, it's also important, but it's important to prepare it as the best we can. So what can we do to avoid last-minute requests? Because last-minute requests, they stress everyone. They stress the developers, that they will have to implement the strings. They stress us that we have to ask the provider for the strings, and then, well, I guess the providers will be very stressful to catch up the translations in their time zones, to gather all the information and send it back. Of course, if everyone is stressed, I think the margin to have mistakes is much, much higher. Oops, and now I clicked the wrong button. Okay, the sixth tip. When you have complex requests, pull a Dr. Strange. I hope in my interim that you understand this one, because we are big nerds in Miniclip. So, well, basically this is trying to say that you should predict a multitude of situations when you are requesting the strings. So if I have a big chunk of text and I'm pretty sure it is not final, or there is, I've heard some rumors that they want to change, or the name of the promo, it's not a lot. So we should request it in a way, or plan to have, for example, variables, or to leave it each sentence in each string, and then order it up if we need. So we avoid duplicating the work. So I avoid to request the same string because I don't know anything about Russian, for example. So if I request a string for a ball pool in Russian, a big one, and then we change a word or a sentence, help me God if I know how to correct it and remove it by myself. So if I prepare my work, well, my investment in requesting will be better, and this will also generate less mistakes, less pressure, and sometimes we have the deadlines and we can work it better. And for last, people over processes. So I was now talking for some minutes and talking about some processes and stressing out that component, but I think the most important thing is to value people. That is the biggest teaching that I can give you. Because processes, they come and go, they can be changed. They may not be adequate for your company, for your way to work. But if you have the person that is working with you, being internal colleague or partner, but if you have it on your side, it's much better when you have an urgent request, a real urgent request, and you need that special help, that special nudge. People are much more available to help you if you are not paying every day, making requests at the last time and stressing out. So it is very important to value people, because it will be people that will do the job for you, not the processes. They are there just to help you out. So with this in mind, thank you for your attention. We suggest our motto that is work hard and play harder. So if you have any questions, you can do it now, or later you can catch us and we have a chat. Thank you.
Bom dia.
Very well.
My name is Kirill Solovyov, and I'm with Content Quote. So you guys shared this very interesting case that you switched from a poor translation partner to a better one, improved the quality, and your product metrics have actually changed. I think this is super cool, and I think it was you a number of years ago who actually had the discussion, how can I prove to my boss that investing into a higher quality localization will drive us more business? So my question to you guys is, Can you share some numbers behind your increase in retention and engagement and other product metrics? Because I think that data is super helpful for all localization managers in the room trying to do the same change that you pulled off. If not exact numbers, but at least give people a range perhaps. Is it single digit, is it double digit? So any hard facts would be super helpful. Thank you. Obrigado.
You can take this one.
Yeah, I'll take this one. This is a tricky one. Well, unfortunately, we cannot share data. I can maybe say a couple of things. The rating, especially, I don't think that's a huge issue. Oh, sorry. Better. Okay. So, for instance, the rating in some countries went from 3.7 to 4.5. Yeah, it was quite significant. In terms of retention and engagement, it was single-digit increase. Actually, we're making some tests, and this definitely I cannot share with you guys, but it also is increasing revenue in some of the countries.
Yes, we also have the feedback from the customer support. Yeah. So the number of tickets decreases. Talking about specifically bad localizations, it went down. So significantly. And also one thing, and this is kind of a personal opinion, I think it's, of course, managers, they always want to give me the numbers, show me the ROI, right? But in a perspective of product development, that's basically what we do. We do this like kind of side projects. We see the localizations as a part of giving more value to the product. That's our main goal. So it might not be a significant improvement in, well, not potentially it should be, but in revenue, for example, in promos. But you should always localize the game. After all, if we stop with it and think, okay, if I'm in the industry, I like playing games. So, well, normally. So if I see a game, and I'm Portuguese, right? Portuguese from Portugal. And I see a game, and I select the Portuguese language. And then I see something in Portuguese from Brazil, Brazilian Portuguese. Well, I kind of get a little bit annoyed with it. So I imagine that in Korean, in Chinese, and all those languages that we really don't have a single clue, because in French, in German sometimes, in Spanish, well, Portuguese tend to think that they know how to speak Spanish. We just speak louder and several gestures. So in those difficult languages that we call difficult for us, because they are out of the common, if there is an error, something like that, it will decrease the product value. So it is important to invest it. I see it as an investment, as a product as a whole, and not something that will increase revenue in a specific promotion or something.
None.
Еще вопросы?
We have time.
Hello guys, my name is Lana Bolotova. I work for Badu. It's a British data net, quite big. So I'm really, since we translate our app into 52 languages, I'm really curious about the processes. If you could, well, I understand that you have a lot of like stages, right, when you develop a new feature or new game. If you take into consideration all the like processes, developing the feature, QAing the feature, and localizing it, probably you could give the approximate percentage of time you allow for localization?
Well, that is an ongoing project for us. We started this 1 year or so, and normally the time between to request the string and then the translation and then to implement it, it's very fast. I think we can improve it because we use a platform, Crowding. Some of you know it. And well, our developers, they are already used to go there and fetch the string. So the time is not much. And also, if we need to correct something, the way we build our games allow us to, if we need to correct specific word, mistake, we can do it very easily. So we don't need to create a new build, submit it to the store, and wait all that process. We can do it as we need. So I would say that regarding translations and localization, we don't spend much time on it. We should, and we will, but now it's really straightforward, and this is also because now we have a bit more trust in our partner, in about the quality, because we have the data, because we also see the relationship that we have with the partner, and the speed when as they deliver the translations, all that gives us a sense of peace and trust that we don't worry and we don't stress much about it. If I request an urgent localization, I know that tomorrow, without mistake, I will have it. And the developers will implement, and the config will be launched tomorrow. So the user, at most, will be like 24 hours with a mistake in the app. So it's pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would just like to add, to complement something also, something that we're battling with. So we develop features, it's an ongoing process, and features can change. So it's something that we are still trying to improve, is to make sure that the feature is as close as possible to not lose a lot of time in back and forth. So it's very hard to put a percentage of actual effort into the localization because it's a very fast process, but it's something definitely that we're working on, is to make sure, okay, the feature is closed and there won't be any major changes. So that also has a lot of impact.
What can sometimes happen is during QA testing, we see that the string we forgot or the PM didn't mention had a limit of space. So sometimes we need to, oh, can you please cut this or change it so we can fit the space. But that's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty fast anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello, my name is Daria. I work for Booking.com, we also localize a lot. And Gonçalo, I think I have a question to you, because you mentioned that it's quite difficult to measure the quality of translations. And I wanted to ask, what is the main challenge to do that, and what are you still doing to measure that?
What we do to measure that, like André said, one of the channels that we used was player feedback. So that is because, like we talked about, it's not very tangible. It's very hard to get data on translations. So if complaints drop and most of the metrics start increasing, it's a good indicator. But it's not completely opinative, but you will never. I think it's very hard to get definitely data, or you set up a KPI for translations, for example. I don't think that's doable.
But from whom do you get their feedback?
Players.
From players. Okay, thank you.
And one thing that I may add, we did some tests with other companies and with our previous provider, and after thinking a bit about it, it doesn't make much sense, because I can request, for example, Gonçalo to localize a thing in Portuguese, and then I can request another person to localize it in Portuguese, and you will find some things in the way that he writes that it will not be the same. So there will always be changes or small corrections to be done, especially because if we are changing provider, the style, even if we give all the glossary, all the information, the context, the person that is on the other side will change. So the result will be, oh, you have several strings that need to be corrected. Well, they may not be wrong, they just are not your rights. So we were aiming some months ago also that, following what Gonçalo said, the best way to have a kind of feeling, a notion that the players are happy is by asking the players, the native speakers of that language that play the game every day, to give it a go and say if they find anything that could be better implemented, because they, better than any of us, know how to what is the game? The game is for them, not kind of for us.
Okay, thank you very much.
У нас есть еще вопросы?
If anybody else wants to chat about measuring translation quality, find me out there. We help some of the largest companies in the world measure the quality of their translations, and no, I think it's with that. Thank you.
For sure.
Так, вопросов больше нет? Точно? Тогда мы двигаемся дальше. Спасибо, thank you.